All right, y'all. So on Zoom, we are talking about how important it is to write things down, right? That is actually the name of this session today. It's called Right or Wrong, because you have to write things down in order to bring them into your awareness. So the first thing that I've covered so far is the concept of external storage. And this is a scientific word for visually seeing your goals or the things that you actually want to achieve. External storage, right? So external storage can be you keeping a gold card, and a gold card is something simple and small, right? It can be like this, right? And you just keep it in your wallet, you keep it on your person at all times so that you can bring that frequency to yourself, because everything has a frequency. You just have to really get in alignment with it. And again, this was a study done. And the name of the study, let me just reference it one more time for this recording. It's called the Gender Gap and Goal Setting Study, right? And I'll also drop the link for anybody who's interested in reading more about that. But within that study, they found that although men and women equally both wrote their goals down, fewer than 20% of people said that their goals were always written down and written down vividly. And that's just something that we have to fix, right? Because we do so much stuff throughout our day, but do we ever stop to look at our goals or to write them down? Right? Drop a 7 in the chat if you looked at your goal today, right? Drop a 7 in the chat if you actually physically looked at your goal on a piece of paper today and you really got excited about that thing, right? And you could drop a 7 on Instagram as well if you physically saw your goal on paper today. And if you didn't, that's okay, because that's the purpose of this call. Now, if you did see your goal today, right, you did write it down, you do have that goal card, you do have a vision board, you do have affirmations written all around your home or wherever you're living at this moment. Just go ahead and drop an 8 in the chat. I mean, drop a 7 in the chat if you have it, drop an 8 in the chat if you do not have it, but it's okay, right? Because we're here to really get you to the place that you need to be. Because sometimes you can't do everything by yourself. You didn't end up on this call by accident. You ended up on this call because it's something that you actually need to hear today, right? So external storage, we understand what it is, right? We have to see things, right, in order for them to be in our awareness and for us to be able to create the reality for that thing. So that's number one. So part two, right, of the scientific explanation of why you should write things down, because I don't want y'all to think I'm just pulling stuff, pulling stuff out of nowhere or talking out the side of my neck, because I really try to do as much research as possible before I'm passing on information, right? I need to make sure that it's valuable because my voice is very valuable. The things that I'm telling you is very valuable. Learn something from it. So the second thing that I learned as a part of why you should write your goals down is called encoding, right? So encoding is something that actually happens in your brain, and it determines whether or not something is important or whether something is not important. The encoding process that happens is, if let's just say, for example, you hear somebody's name, they like, "Hi, my name is Steve. Nice to meet you." And then Steve just started talking to you. And then 5 minutes later, Steve is like, he asks you, "What's my name?" Or somebody say, "Hey, what's that guy's name?" But you may not remember, right? If you ever met somebody, you had a great conversation with them, and then you couldn't remember their name for nothing, drop a 1 in the chat, family, because this really happens to everybody, right? This really happens to everybody. And thank you for people who are just joining us over on Instagram, wherever you're listening from in the world, right? So I do have some ones over here. I do have some ones over here. And encoding is just as important as your external storage, because it's actually, right, this is actually how you remember things, right? Now, in this article, it says that encoding is the result of a deeper phenomenon, right? And I really want you guys to write this down. This is the exact definition that it gives us. Encoding is by which the things we perceive travel. I'm just getting excited because y'all know I love talking about the mind and the brain and perception and things that you allow to actually come into your subconscious and how that affects you on a daily basis. Like, I live for that, right? I literally live, that gets me excited. So I'm gonna say the definition again, right? Encoding is the biological travel to our brains where their decisions are made about what gets stored in our long-term memory, and in turn, what gets discarded. right? So I know I was breaking up a little bit on Zoom. I'm gonna just read it one more time to make sure that y'all get the full definition. Encoding is the biological, right? This means that this is happening in your body. This means that everybody goes through this process, right? Everybody has the ability to go through this biological process by things we perceive, right? Which means what we're looking at travel to our, right? Which is what we're thinking about, and this further analyzed. So if I see this Alexa right here, right? I'm thinking about this and this is important or not. Do I need this thing? Does this thing happen to me? Right? And it says decisions are made about what gets stored in our long-term memory, right? And in turn, what gets discarded. So the reason to write things down is because writing right? So I know if I'm breaking up, just drop some forward, just let me know. Right? Because writing actually proves right? Because when you write stuff that this is important, so it's not just you answering at somebody, it's not just you having a conversation, it's not just happening passively. You're actually putting time and energy into this thing, and it's telling your brain that this. And have you ever, and this is the interesting part too about how you question, and then your mind goes through 500 thoughts, right? In a matter of 3 seconds, determine what that is, right? If you got a lot of stuff in your brain, but you can sift through things to fit what's important like that, 7 in the chat, right? This is from my IG because we know what's important to us based on how our brain processes that thing. But that's also going to be determined on the emotional connection that we actually have with the thing that we're trying to achieve. So I hope you guys are following. Because the whole purpose is just to let you know why you should write your goals down, why that's important, right? Because a lot of us, I'm pretty sure we don't do it. A lot of us have a lot of aspirations when we want to start a business, right? If you're an entrepreneur, just drop a 3 in the chat, right? On both platforms. If you're an entrepreneur, drop a 3 in the chat. Because when it comes to entrepreneurship, we know that it's not easy, right? We know that there's a lot of things that we have to do, but we have to believe that the thing that we're trying to achieve is actually something that we can do. And the only way that we can do that, again, and this is the purpose of these calls, is to reset our internal programming and make our visions and goals plain and clear, right? That's going to be extremely important, right? A lot of us get up in the morning as an entrepreneur, you want to think about who do I have today? You want to think about how much money has to go out of my businesses. You want to think about how do I make more money, right? You're thinking about all of these things, right? You're making calls, you're going out, you're doing presentations, you're losing sleep. You sometimes you forget to eat. You're doing all of these things, right? You're reading the right books, you're hopping on these calls, you're going to these seminars. And some of us have even flown out, right? Have you ever been to an in-person event, right? An in-person event that really changed your life, like a network marketing event, whether it was I Am Academy, whether it was Believe Nation, whether it was if you ever been to an in-person event, just drop a 1 in the chat, right? Because it takes a lot of physical energy to think about, to make the decision to go on that trip, right? It takes physical energy to swipe that card, right? To buy those tickets if nobody's paying your way, right? It takes, I'm pretty sure Houston was amazing, right? The last time I was in Houston was for David's event in July, and I'll be going back for David's event in February. But think about it. You just said you got on a plane, right? Some of us have got on a plane, right, to attend events. But have you written your goals down, right? Now, when we think about it, we really want to be like, wow, this is a little bit crazy. Like this is a little bit crazy because if you can take the physical energy and effort to show up to an event, right? You can take the physical energy and effort to pick up a phone and call somebody. If you could take the physical energy and effort to show up at a job, the physical energy and effort to get upset that people aren't joining your business, to get upset that you're not leveling up, why don't you have the simple energy to write your goals down, right? Because this study was very surprising that less than 20% of people actually write the things down that they desire so much and that they want, right? Now, I know most of us, because a millionaire is essentially, it's the new standard, right? Being a millionaire is the new standard, right? Millionaires have increased a lot since the pandemic. A lot of people have been able to make a lot more money, right? But they didn't just say that they wanted to do that. They had to actually write it down and put action behind it. They had to stay on track with their goals. They had to get up every day and work towards that thing, but they had to write it down, right? How can you expect anybody to know what you want to do, right? What you want to achieve and who you are if you never told them? If you don't have resources to execute your vision at the level that you want to execute it, how will people know? Right? Like I know, like as a startup entrepreneur, when I was first starting, I would get really agitated when people didn't listen to me. I would get really agitated when people didn't want to buy what I was selling. I would get really agitated when people weren't trying to listen to me. I would get really agitated when people would leave me on red. I would get really agitated when people would not answer the phone for me. I would get really agitated when people said that in the process of me building wealth and unlearning all these things that I was trying to scam them and not help them. I would get really agitated. But it's like, I'm just showing up and I'm just talking and I'm just saying what I think this person needs to hear. But if I can write something down and I can show you exactly what it is that I'm doing and how I'm trying to do it, it would make much more sense, right? Now, if I told you, if I just walked up to you and I said, I'm gonna build you a house. I'm gonna build you a house. Yes, you, Bridget. Yes, you, everybody in this call, I'm building you a house, right? You might be like, okay. I'm gonna say, this is gonna be the greatest house ever. I'm gonna put the fish tank right there. I'm gonna put the master bedroom right there. The master bedroom gonna have this, and that. It's gonna have this, and I'm gonna just be talking so much. And eventually, right, you may get a little bit excited about what I'm saying, but you're gonna say, let me see. What are you talking about? Right? Give me an example. Right? Give me an example. Like if somebody came up to you and said, I have the keys to your dream house right now, right? I'm going to describe it to you. You're going to be interested, but you're going to say, give me an example. I need to see what you're talking about. Right? When they build houses, right? When they think they just hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a development. Like if I I don't know, anybody right now and say, I need $100,000 so that I can do this thing. They're going to give it to me. I'm just going to give me $100. Has something to back it up with, right? Because I can say, yo, Spicy, let me get $100,000. You're not just going to give me $100,000. You're going to say, for what? And I can't be like, I don't know. I just want $100,000. I mean, I do, but it's not going to make sense. And people aren't just going to give you money just because you said that you want it. You have to write down what you need that thing for. Because if I told you right now today, all right, I'm going to give you $250,000 today, right? You probably wouldn't even know what to do with it because you never wrote it down, right? Now we have a general idea, right? Like a lot of us have a general idea of what we would like to do with the money, but how could you have a general idea about what you're going to do with millions? It should be very specific, right? It should be very specific. Now, everybody's not like me, but I know that if I had $250,000 right now, I'll be able to put money into my food truck. I'll be able to put money into my other businesses, right? I actually have budgets that I've written down because I realized that nothing was actually going to come into my life unless I had a plan for it, right? I couldn't just walk up to try to get a loan and say, hey, yo, give me this loan for $250,000. I had to say, if you give me $250,000, this is exactly what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to do this. 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 So the money already has a place to go. Now, something that Bob Proctor said, which is what I love, he always tells the story about his two friends who they really wanted to buy a house, right? But they didn't have any money. They didn't have any money. So they was complaining to Bob, oh, Bob, we want to buy a house. We don't have any money. We don't know. We don't know. And then Bob Proctor simply, as Bob Proctor would say, is like, why do you need the money if you don't even know what house you want? Right? Why do you need the money? Like, why are you so worried about the money that you need if you don't even know what house you want? That doesn't even make sense. Right? So Bob Proctor brought this into these people's awareness and just said, go start looking for the house that you want. right? Make a plan for what you actually want and watch how much more seamless you're able to attract this thing into your life. Right. And that's exactly what happened. They, of course, went out to Bob Proctor, called a friend. She was able to help them find a house. But had they not started the or we're looking for would have never came, right? Just drop a MS in the chat. When it comes to our goals, we have to just be so attached. We have to be so emotionally attached. We have to be so involved with the feeling of accomplishing the thing that we want to accomplish that there's no way that it won't get done, right? There's no way that it won't get done because I know, right? And I'm gonna just use this as an example. I know that if I had a plan, right? This launch manual, by the way, right? Somebody wrote this down, right? If I had a plan, right, and I said, all right, my goal is I want $1,000, right? If I said that was my goal, right? I can't just snap my fingers and make $100,000, but I can start to think, how am I going to make $100,000? So the first thing I would do is I would think about how can I make $100,000 instead of how I'm not going to make it, right? And that's another, this is just a side gem before I get distracted and forget what I'm talking about. Start thinking about what you can do and not what you can't do. You can't say, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be rich. I want to hit this level. I want to hit this rank. I want to be this person, right? You can't say those things and then not be willing to do the work or do what you need to do to actually hit that level. So if I say I want to make $100,000, I'm going to first start thinking, okay, how can I make $100,000? So trading, okay, residual income, okay, I got my this, I got this, I got that. I can start right? So now I'm gonna give myself a goal. If it's not a measurable goal, it's not happening, right? And a measurable goal is just something that you can quantify. So if I want to make $100,000, God can give me $100,000, but it could take 20 years, right? He can give me that in pennies, right? But if I say, God, let me write this down. I want to make $100,000 in the next 12. Okay. Clear goal, right? I have a positive mindset about it because I'm actually about to plan out how I'm going to do it. And then I also have a time that I'm expecting to accomplish this thing with the brain. So cool. This is our goal. Months. So now what I'm going to do is, okay, to do in the next month that's going to help me accomplish this goal, right? Or I can too, right? Let's just do it. Let me do the math right here. I'm going to do 100,000 divided by 12. Right? And that's going to tell me how much money I need to make a month, right? Tell me if I divide $100,000 by 12, that's going to tell me how much money I need to make in a month, right? And I'm like, all right, okay, cool. That's it makes it $100,000 seem a lot smaller, right? Because that means, right, it's only I got to make $8,000 a month, right? Now it may seem like a lot because we don't have it. So now we're just going to divide that 8,000 30, right? Because it's about 30 days in a month, right? We're going to divide that 8,000 by 30, and we're going to see what we come up with. So whatever that number is, that's how much I have to make every single day. I've been able to make $100,000, right? And I think I've done this so that it comes out to $274 every single day. In 12 months, you will have $100,000, right? Now, if you did not know that, drop 7 in the chat, right? If you did not know that, drop a 7 in the chat because that's really all it takes to be a 6-figure, right? We say this all the time. I want to be a 6-figure earner, right? Have you ever written that down? I want to be a 6-figure earner. I want to be a 6-figure earner. Somebody recently brought to my attention that the number 1,000.00, which is only $1,000, that's also 6 figures, right? So have you been telling the universe the wrong thing? Like, have you been telling God the wrong thing, saying you want to be a 6-figure earner, but you've been getting a little money here and there, but it's not the result you're looking for? Why? Because your vision is not so plain and your vision is not so clear that whoever you give this vision, that be able to do it for you, right? let me just know if that makes sense, y'all, because you can execute that plan if you stay on track, right? If you stay on track, you can't I ain't really feel like doing nothing today. I didn't really feel like making $274 today. Okay, now you're getting off track. Now you're going not according to plan. Now, of course, you're not going to reach your goal in a lot of time because you're not sticking to what the plan is. Now, this doesn't have to be your plan, right? $100,000. It can be anything. Yep. I want to, I don't know. I want to bring 20, 30 new people into my business this month, right? For all my IBOs and for all my entrepreneurs. Your goal may be, I want to bring 30 new people into my business this month. Well, first and foremost, did you write that down? Right? Now, thank you and shout out to everybody who's just joining on IG. We are talking about how to manifest your desires by writing them down. So the first half of this call, I went over the scientific explanation of why you should actually write things down. And the two concepts are called external storage, right? Which is something you can physically see. This can be a vision board. This can be a goal card. This can be a journal, right? Where you track your goals. And then it's encoding. Encoding is what happens in your mind and it processes things and tells you what's important or not. How should you remember this thing? When you write something down, it actually strengthens the encoding process within your brain and allows your goals to become much more important to you. I just wanted to recap for people who are just joining. I'm going to quote one more thing because it's on topic with everything we're talking about. And this is just, I always don't really know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Habakkuk 2:2. That's in the Bible. And it just simply says, write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it, right? This is simply just saying, write down what you want and make it clear so that whoever sees it, right, they'll run. Now, when I first heard this interpretation, I just was like, oh my God, that it just seems so intimidating. But then recently in July, it was actually at David's conference, I just had a whole different perspective because if I write something down and make it plain, then somebody literally can run and tell other people what I said and what I'm doing. And literally tell them what I said and what I'm doing. Like if I put on Facebook every single day, Cha-Cha is going to be, I'm going to make $100,000 this year. I'm going to make $100,000 because I'm going to make $274 a day. I'm going to make $274 a day by tapping into my 4 streams of income. I'm going to make $50 from trading. I'm going to make $50 from cryptocurrency. I'm going to make $50 from my stocks. I may go out and do a little Instacart or Lyft. And before I know it, right, I've made $275, right? Maybe I've made $275 for the day, which is amazing, right? Because I wrote it down. Now, if I put this on Facebook every single day, right, I say Cha-Cha, $100,000 goal, $274 a day, 5 streams of income, $55 per stream of income. And I do this every single day, right? Other people who are watching my status, right? Other people who are seeing who can read that, right? If I put that in my status, guys, wouldn't you be able to understand what it is I'm trying to do, right? Just drop a 1 in the chat. If I put on my status, Cha-Cha's $100,000 by, I don't even know today's date, by November 24th, 2022, daily goal of $274, right? Daily goal of $274. I'm going to accumulate this much money per stream of income every single day. And then I'm going to just keep up, right? I'm just going to keep up with that. If I wrote that down and gave it to you, you will be able to duplicate and do the same exact thing because my vision is plain, my vision is clear, and anybody who sees that can literally take it and run with it, right? You can take it and run with it because it just makes sense. Now, I really want us to think about when's the last time you wrote your goals and dreams down? And don't just write, I want to be rich. Okay? That makes no sense. Chocolate could be rich. Like for real, being honest, right? Don't just say I want to be wealthy, right? Do you want to be wealthy in your mind? Do you want to be wealthy in your body? Do you want to be wealthy in your spirit? Right? You really got to get so specific about what you want and don't be afraid to get into your own head. Like don't be afraid to take 5 to 10 minutes a day to really figure out what it is that you want and to focus on that thing and to build that desire. I actually have a document called Who Are You? Right, 2.0, and it gives you a visualization guide to really decide who you want to be, right, down to how you want to look. Because if it's so clear and plain, why can't you do it, right? You can't say, oh, I want to be I want to be fit and healthy. All right, bet. That's the goal. Now, what's the next thing you're going to write down? I'm willing to change my diet to become fit and healthy. I am willing to exercise more to become fit and healthy. I will do 30 minutes of cardio a day. I will do 25 sit-ups. I will dance to Beyonce, right? You writing it down, right? You really writing down every single thing that you're going to do to hit that goal, right? So if you're doing that, don't you think it's a higher probability that what you want is going to be accomplished because you know exactly how to do it, right? I think it really comes down to making the time for what you say you want, right? You spending 20 minutes a day hitting the phones is not enough to get you what you want. You writing your affirmations and that's it is not really enough to get you what you want. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm rich. Okay, how did you get there? Like, what did you do to create that reality for yourself? And how can you pass on that information for somebody else to actually duplicate it? Because you're not going to get there if you don't have a guide, right? And this is the cool thing I like about entrepreneurship. If somebody else has already written down the vision for you, right? And this is the best part about network marketing, y'all. And this is a shameless plug. The best part about network marketing, if I'm keeping it honest, is that somebody already wrote the vision and made it plain. All I got to do is pick up the blueprint and run with that, John, right? All I really got to do is pick up the blueprint and run with it. It's so many things that have been left here already for us to take and to make what we want out of it. Like Think and Grow Rich. That's an amazing blueprint that somebody wrote down, right? They made it very plain and clear. The vision was very plain and clear. And that's why so people who have read that book, Think and Grow Rich, have been able to take that vision and run with it because it is so clear what you have to do. All you have to do is be willing to do it, right? And it all starts with writing it down. This may not be a practice that you were already doing. This may not be something that you do as frequently or as much as you need to. But I highly encourage everybody to take this practice of writing down what you want, making it into a vision board, right? Because it's about the visualization. It's about being able to see it. It's about being able to experience that emotion. It's about being able to honestly feel like you can achieve what you want to achieve. So science says, write it down, right? To make it important to your mind, science says write it down to make it important to your brain, right? So that your brain can assess that, wow, oh my God, writing this down every single day. Oh my God, he keep writing this down every single day. Your mind is going to be so frustrated to the point where it's like, well, I guess this is important then, right? Writing it down is going to take that stress out of that. And it's keep coming up because that's what you want to pay attention to. That's what you program yourself to believe is important. That's what you shifted your cybernetic system to understand. This is something that I want, right? This is something that I want. So I highly, highly, highly encourage y'all to write that down. I challenge everybody, and you can share it with me if you want. Definitely don't have to, but what do you want? As we're approaching 2022, year of double blessings, right? If you know anything about master numbers, it's just like, I'm super excited for this year. But if you really have an idea of how you want your 2020 to go, you think you're going to get that way by holding it on to yourself, right? You have your internal things that you're battling with external things that you're battling. So you have to get it out. Like, you have to make space for those. You have to make space for your ideas to breathe and to live, because you're not writing them down. You're suffocating them. It's a lot going on in your mind, right? It may be a lot going on in your heart. It may be a lot going on in your spirit, and you're actually suffocating those thoughts. They're getting lost with everything else because you're not writing it down. You're not acting on it, right? And this is like urging you to figure it out, because not that time is running out, but it's like, the sooner you figure out what you want to do, and the sooner you figure out a plan to get there, the sooner you'll be able to accomplish that thing. Means the sooner you'll be able to get into a better life, right? The sooner you figure it out what it is that you want to do, the sooner you write it down, the sooner you come up with a clear plan and vision about where you want to take action, right? The sooner you can start to get those results. And the sooner you get those results, the longer you have to live your life in just such happiness and abundance and freedom. Because think about it, it may take you another 15 to 20 years to get the results that you want. But at least you'll have another 30 to 40 years to live that life in abundance. But why take 20 years to get your life together when you can do it in 2 to 5? Like, why wait to retire, right, in 40 to 60 years? Or I don't know how old everybody is, but why wait until you 65 to start to live the best life that you can live when you can do it sooner than later by figuring it out, what it is that's been in your head and in your heart to get out, right? Write it down, get it out, get a move on it, and you're going to start to get results much faster, right? The sooner you achieve those goals, the sooner you will have that abundance and you can just live in that lifestyle for a longer period of time, right? So if you would rather take the next 2 to 5 years to live the rest of your life in abundance, just drop a 5 in the chat, right? If you are willing to take the next 2 to 5 years of your life to live the rest of your life in abundance, drop a 5 in the chat. But if you want to honestly wait until you're 65 so that you only have about 15 to 20 years to live in abundance, then that's another option as well. And unfortunately, that's the option that most people choose to go with because they don't understand how important simple habits can change the entire course of their life really is, right? These are simple things, right? Simple things, right? Simple things, right? If you have a pen or pencil within reach, I encourage you to just write it down right now. You may not go into full manifestation mode, but at least you got it out your head and at least you got it off your heart and it's on paper now, right? Because that's how the process of manifestation works. It comes from your head, right? It comes from, right, the ether, right? It comes from God. You get your thoughts, you write it down, right? That's 2D. And then you make it real. That's 3D. And then you get the results. And then it goes back around to the 4D, 5D. And then you just have this amazing consciousness because you really lived your life to the fullest in the time that you had. You did what you were supposed to do. And I could just keep talking forever, but I'm going to try to just wrap it up, right? Everybody literally has something to do. If it's something that has been on your mind, if it's something that you see other people doing that maybe makes you jealous and upset, it's not supposed to make you jealous and upset, but it is supposed to trigger you to take action, right? Maybe you see somebody else that's leveling up. Maybe you see somebody else that's making all this money. Maybe you see somebody else that's getting all these results. Well, I'm sure that they was determined to do that, right? Some things are by luck, but luck is really just when opportunity meets preparation, right? So it's coming off like that for some people, but they was prepared to receive the things that they received. No matter how you feel about it, they was in a position to receive the things that they were supposed to receive. And even if they didn't fully understand the things, the laws of the universe, I'm pretty sure that they truly believed that they could attain the thing that they were desiring so much, right? And they didn't care about how they was going to get there, but they believed that they can do it. And somewhere, some way, I'm pretty sure all they did was follow directions and write it down because it does sound crazy, right? It does sound crazy. Oh, you telling me if I write something down, that increases my likelihood of getting rich? Yeah. Like you ever heard, I know for people who did go to college, I had to write a whole, what's that thing called? A reference letter? A recommendation letter. Like I had to get a whole recommendation letter of people writing down, right, who I was, right, what my plan was and how I was going to add to that school community. And them writing that down also propelled the process of helping me get into the school that I wanted. It helps. How do you think it's kind of called, hey, yeah, I got this in writing. Send it in writing. Like, have you ever tried to, I don't know, get out of anything without writing? Like writing adds credentials to something. Like it makes something much more credible. So don't just think about it when you're in trouble. Don't just think about it as that. Think about it as something that you absolutely need to do. And it should be the very first step that any goal on any level. So yeah, guys, I think that is the gist of what I'm trying to say. I don't want to like keep repeating myself too much. But the moral of the story is you have everything that you need already inside of you or within reach, literally a pen, a paper. You have your mind, you have your heart, you have your intuition, you have those desires. You have the option to have a relationship with God if that's something that you want to do. You have the internet, right? You're watching this right now. You have books. You're in a community, right? For people who are in a community, you have a community of people who are a support system, right? You have all of these things you need. So the only thing that's holding you back is your will and desire to actually get what you want, right? So start to believe it. Start to get attached with start to really get attached with the things that you're saying that you want. And I promise you, the more you write it down, the more you read it, the more that your emotional attachment is going to increase, and you're going to achieve these things a lot faster, right? You're going to achieve these things a lot faster, right? And I really want to see how it works out for y'all. Y'all know where to find me on Instagram at Money Mantra Cha. This is a conversation. This particular type of conversation is something that we have every Wednesday, right? Because my organization is called the Cosmic Club. And Wednesdays at the Cosmic Club are Wellness Wednesdays. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, we have a mindset call called Mindset Reset. And that's about healing on a deeper spiritual level and asking yourself these questions just like this, but more personal, that you may not have thought about before. So I highly encourage y'all, if you have not joined the Mindset Reset chat, send me a message so I can make sure that you get that. Obviously, at 2 p.m., we have the Money Mantra Off the Charts, where we're going to have another deep introspective conversation, but it's focusing on money, right? How do we actually get to abundance that we deserve? That's what the 2 p.m. conversations are. And then 8 p.m., right? We just have the greatest call of all time, because it's a collaboration of L, who's our Mindset Reset host, me, who's the Money Mantra host, and Spicy, who is another leader within my team, and an amazing creative and personal development leader within this team. And we just really encourage people who you want to run, right? You want to be successful, right? You want to be abundant. Not that just you want it, but you deserve it, right? You deserve it. For anybody that deserves abundance, right? And this is literally for people who deserve it, right? If you don't feel like you deserve it, don't come. But if you know you deserve abundance, right? Show up to this call, right? Because it's for everybody. It's at 8 o'clock p.m. So I look forward to seeing all you guys there. I will open up the floor. I think I can add people on IG if you want to leave any commentary or leave in the comments, so I'll read it. Or if you want to say something here on Zoom before I end the call, just go ahead and raise your hand and the floor is open. So I'll give everybody about 20 seconds or so to decide if you want to add to the conversation. If not, we're going to wrap it up. I highly would like to see you guys later. So just send me a DM and say digital link. All right, got about 10 more seconds. All right. So I don't think anybody wants to speak on Instagram at Money Mantra Cha. If you are following me, right, and I'll make sure you have. I'll be posting a playback on YouTube tomorrow at 2 p.m. Yeah.